What's good, people? Nigel Maestro here with Musician Lives Matter. Live with y'all heard it. I mean smack. If y'all don't know what groove is, y'all gonna learn tonight. You gotta be locked. I can't stand a drummer that can do all this blah blah da 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 blah. But you gotta have the groove. You know what I'm saying? We with the groove, one of the best groove masters in the history of music. Y'all hear him. The people that don't, you may not know his name, but we're gonna introduce you to the beat, the man behind Mary J's step. Y'all know she got the da 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 da. None other than Mr. Rex Hardy Jr. Y'all welcome him to the stage. What's up, my
what's
brother?
what's good, bro? Thanks for
What's
having
up,
me,
man?
man. It's about time.
Listen,
We've been trying to get it.
hey, tell the people we work. We be working.
Yeah, we keep it moving.
Yeah.
But no, thanks for having me on, bro. For real.
Yo, listen, thank you for coming on, like, doing this, with us, telling us your story. Yeah, man, just, helping. We trying to, the whole vision, Musician Lives Matter, behind the
Yeah,
scenes. I'm focusing on the musicians, the MDs, the producers that's behind these artists that the world knows, but they don't really know. You know what I'm saying? We the people, we the ones behind the boards, behind the stage, behind the lights, behind the music. Helping these artists in front. So what's good, man? Talk to the people.
man. COVID isn't good, to say the least. This is the worst thing ever, man.
Man, how you been coping with it?
Uh, well, I think the beginning of it is way different than it is. Like I always took it serious.
Right,
Um, But towards the beginning, it was something we never saw. So we was just
right.
like, all right, kids home for a couple of weeks, we good. When it started rolling around, like, yeah, this many died, and now we going back into the school year. It's like, no, this is serious.
Hmm.
But it's like even dealing with that. I'm a homebody anyway, so the only part of me it affected is the traveling, But um, I mean, my prayers just go out to like all the families and anybody who's lost anybody during this time.
Right.
But it's been some learning curves these
Yeah.
last 4 or 5 months, to say the least. People doing stuff they ain't never done before.
Hmm.
Got people starting businesses they ain't never even sewn before. Now they got a clothing line. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
it's been a lot of bad, but there's been some good in
Right.
this situation too.
For sure. Man, that's what's up, man. Like how had, preferably you hadn't had lost anybody, from the virus or anybody close.
No, thankfully, um, I know a few people that family and friends they've had it, but I no deaths. Thank God.
That's good, man. Yeah, I had a couple scares in our family, and I had a third cousin. He was older. He actually passed, and
Oh man, sorry to
but
hear that.
yeah, that was just. I mean, he was already. That's the thing. If you're already having health issues,
Right.
um, especially with that's why they say the black community we're more at risk because we already have high blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
diabetes, heart disease, and so
Yeah.
when you couple that on top of COVID, and it's just
Yeah.
yeah, man.
It's it's a
But
lot, man.
we thank God to be in the land of the living.
Absolutely, no doubt about that.
Yeah. So as far as you not traveling, like how have you been? Like what work has you been? Have you been? Well, before we get to that, for those of y'all that's joining us that don't know, this young man right here, he I mentioned Mary J, but I mean Nas, um, you got Diddy, American Idol, just to name a few. And tell us who else you worked with.
I mean, whoever. I work with whoever calls.
Right. I mean, for me, I mean, you got Mary J and Diddy. Like, we good.
Yeah, I think that'll hold some people down. But yeah, Shaka. I did Shaka Khan for about four
Okay.
or 5 years. Um, yeah, but whatever. I play play for whoever needs me, man.
That's what's up, man. So how has that affected you now? Like, since you're not traveling, you're doing a lot of recording and
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of stuff that I wasn't really able to do because of traveling, either because I was scared to try it or whatever. I would use traveling as a an excuse, not to do it. So during this time, like I kind of went back to some stuff I was doing earlier.
okay,
Like with everything being online, I've become like my church's media man.
right.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
think a lot of people have had promoted to that job.
man, it's crazy. So it just be like I don't be thinking about the drums. I'll be like, let me make sure the graphics is right. Let me make sure, But this is stuff I did like to do early on, but that's not the route I was going at the time. I was solely trying to focus on music.
Right.
So I kind of tapped back into that, and that's been really cool. Um, I've actually, it's weird. This pandemic that we're in right now,
Right.
it actually jolted the need for me to even want to play drums like that again.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I had lost a lot, but wanting to play wasn't my main focus. I just played because I could,
Right.
and it was what paid my bills. You know
Right.
what I'm saying, outside of other things. But being home and like being able to get to know yourself in some areas that I didn't really try to tackle while I was out.
Mm-hmm.
And so by me getting rid of that stuff, it gave me the edge to want to play more. So
Wow.
it's like one of the videos, the ones you played at the top,
Right.
that's just one of those moments. Like I've actually found a love to play drums again,
That's
which sounds weird from a drummer.
right.
But
Well, I
yeah,
think I'm how old are you?
38.
So I'm 32, and so I get what you mean, like as far as even as young as we are, but like because I've been playing keyboard since I was 4, so you're
Oh, okay.
talking about 28 years. It's like something that thing that you're grateful for, but you've been doing it for so long.
Yeah,
And then, like you said, then sometimes you get into it, then it becomes a job, and great job at that. But then you just kind of get stuck in that, kind of plateau, so to
yeah,
speak. And you got all these other passions and different things that you start going on. But yeah, that's again, that's good. That's why we're having these conversations because
yeah,
a lot of people they would see you on the stage with these artists and other musicians and say, "Oh, they're good. Like, they must be living a life, or they, and not
right.
know the mental and emotional side behind it. Whether you got family issues,
Hmm.
health issues,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. Though I mean, like you said, if they're not in your shoes, they can't really. What can they say?
right,
They can speculate, they can assume, whatever.
right,
But majority of the time, it's not what you think it is.
right,
You know, like you said, it's not that you're ungrateful. It's an amazing job. It's actually the job I wanted since I was a kid.
yeah,
So it's not the ungrateful aspect of it. It's the you're still you
right,
outside of that. You know what I
hmm,
mean? Like if I never play drums again, I'm still me. So I have to deal with that stuff sooner or later.
right.
You know what I mean? But
Hey, hence musician lives matter because we
right.
we have a life other than our instrument.
Hmm.
And that's definitely needs to be, and that's why you see a lot of musicians and artists, they're depressed or
Yeah.
whatever going on because their life outside of their instrument sometimes is a wreck. But then a lot of times we find solace in our instrument, and so that keeps us balanced.
Yeah. Exactly.
But you talk about since you was little, so can you kind of tell how you go from Lil Rex, um, which I say that with all my artists, but that's crazy. What you sent me earlier,
Right.
how you go from Little Rex to, start playing to, you know, like you said, Diddy and Mary J. Kind of.
Um. Well, the the quick long story, and that is, I started out, of course, like most of us in church, and it was just something about the drums to me. Like I took keyboard lessons and all that, but it was just something about drums that stuck out to me. It kind of, I think drums chose me almost,
Right.
So of course, come up in church doing that, play for the youth choir.
Mm-hmm.
My grandfather um, was the pastor. Now my mom is the pastor.
Okay.
So church, I would have to been there anyway. I would have had to been there, like no
You got
matter whether I was playing an instrument or not. But so I'm in church, play for the youth choir. Kept, I call it graduating. I kept graduating choirs,
to. Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then finally started letting me play for the concerts. And then in that time, I got a cousin that he took me outside of the church, and I played. It was still a gospel gig, but
Yeah.
I ended up playing with a group here um, for a while, and that just kind of taught me um, that that's what I wanted to do, or it showed me that that's what I wanted to do. It was just like the thrill I got out of playing drums at such a young age,
Right.
um, and then meeting certain musicians. It was like I say, graduation. Certain musicians played a certain role
Mm-hmm.
um, in my career. So as I got older and I kept meeting them in this type of order, it was like, oh, I want to be like him. Oh no, I want to be like him. I want to. So it kept, I just kept following the dudes that I looked up to.
Right.
In a nutshell, and so that kind of turned into back then the internet definitely wasn't popping.
Right.
Like it wasn't that. So tapes are circulating, and I started playing with Ricky Dillard when I
Oh wow.
was 16, 17. Um,
Man.
I was playing with him, and I was subbing for Calvin. That was Calvin Rogers' gig.
Okay.
So I sat in for him, and it was like at that particular time, everything Calvin did, I just kind of followed.
Right.
So if he jumped to a gig, then he couldn't do it no more. I was Johnny on the spot, on the spot. You
I
know what I'm
got you.
saying? It took people a while to trust me
Yeah.
because I was so young, But so make a long story short, he did Dave Hollister. Um, so I would hang around from that. He left. They had another guy take the gig over.
Yeah.
So I was helping. I'm known for programming as well, like programming
Okay.
shows and things of that nature.
Right.
But then, I was just learning, like really trying to get in the game. So anyway, they called me to rehearsal to fix something. The drummer was late, so
Oh man.
yeah, it was.
You're like-
So, but I it's a couple of guys that was there that were playing, and I was like, nah, man, I'm not getting on these drums.
Uh.
They was like, yo, Dave is on his way. Dave walks in, we're playing. They fired my man. He wasn't even there yet.
Oh wow.
Yeah. He wasn't even there yet. He was late, like I said. And when he got there,
And
it
this
was
is
one
with
of them-
Ricky. This is with Ricky or just somebody?
No,
else?
this was Dave Hollister.
Oh, Dave Hollister. Okay.
Dave
right.
Hollister. Yeah. And
Golly.
so it took off from there. Dave Hollister, that
Musicians,
was
you
really
gotta
my
be on
first-
time.
Man, look. You better be on time. But yeah, that's where I played with Selena Johnson. I think a year or so before that.
Hmm.
Oh no, I played with Selena after Dave. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, so being out with Dave kind of it just showed me a different life. Like
Yeah.
he was just coming from Blackstreet, so
Yeah.
yeah, man, it was pretty serious. So that's where it
That's
started for me.
that's crazy, man. So it's just always that, you know, staying with it, sticking with your craft and being good people and being around good people and then just being ready
Yeah.
basically because the right opportunity presented itself and had you not I guess been prepared. So did you already know the songs that they were doing or you had just heard because you were programming.
Right, I was
So
helping program.
you knew the
Yeah, so
that's
that made it
easy.
worse. So and I
You knew
didn't.
the show.
The thing is, I didn't know it. I got because I have two ways of learning music. I knew
Right.
it enough from a programming aspect,
Mm,
but I never learned it to play it.
right.
So it was like even when I sat down, it was like I was playing it, but I was playing at it.
Right.
So I mean, once I got the gig, then I started playing with the music, and then
Right.
it it took off from there.
That's wow. Yeah, man. Well, cool. So, out of what's been kind of either, I guess it's a twofold question. One of your favorite artists, well, like more, I don't want to say favorite artist, but more, one a favorite experience with rather artist or show or or whatever, like or a particular gig,
Um, it's a few. Um, but I think the one at the top of the list would be it would be Mary for
Mm,
sure. Um, because the rest of my musical journey was based off of people seeing me with her.
mm,
It was almost like nothing I did before that because a lot of people just think I came out of nowhere.
right.
It was like, man, oh, who is this dude playing for Mary? Man, I was 22,
Yeah.
21, 22 when I got married. So I
So
wasn't
where
too
did she
long.
see you at? Like you were with Dave?
No, I was with Avant. It
Okay.
was it was Avant, Joe, Genuine, and Jagged Edge.
Oh, I know that show was.
That show was crazy. It was crazy. It was called the Ladies Night Out Tour. So that story is short. We was out on the tour. The music director for Jagged Edge, this guy named Zach Scott, one of my real close friends, Zach Scott, was MD in Jagged Edge. So the manager from Mary called Zach and was like, "Yo, um, Mary's looking for a new band, and I want to bring you all in." Now he wasn't talking about us. He was talking about Zach and Cisco's band.
Okay.
All they did, they just wanted Cisco's band to play with Mary,
Mm.
you know. But what happened was Zach ended up coming over. The drummer for Cisco, Gerard Barnes, he told Zach, he was like, "Yo, man, you need to take Rex." So Zach was like, "Actually, if you couldn't do it, that's exactly who I was gonna take."
That's what's up.
So that's what it was. 1 month we were playing on the Genuine tour. We went home for a week and then started rehearsing with Mary. So that's how I got the gig.
That's what's up. And so apparently she loved what you've been doing.
Sis.
So so can you explain yeah, because I'm interested in this. How do you go from playing drums to cause you're the MD now, right? Or
Yeah.
did you come in as the
No, I
MD?
didn't come in the MD. Zach
All
was the
right.
MD initially.
So
Yeah.
how you go from playing drums to being MD, and then can you explain how it is being a drummer MD? Because I think you do see that a lot more in the R&B hip hop world, and then
Mhm.
more keyboard bass MDs in the gospel side. So kind of
Yeah. Um, well, when I came in, like I said, I was known for programming and all that pre the Mary gig. So that's just what I did. It was weird. I've been doing that since I was a teenager.
Okay.
So whoever I was around, if they were the MD, I would always just sit around them, not knowing if they needed something or,
Right.
maybe they just be looking for an idea and I'm learning from them. So I
Right.
did that. So I did the same thing with Zach. And Zach is a programmer. So Zach, he definitely didn't need me. So I would just really watch him and then just, take notes or whatever. Um, so that was always the thing. So if Mary would come in, just say at the time the music director wasn't available, he'd be like, Rex, take care of it. And I'll try to explain to her, whatever's happening. So that went on for some years. And then it was finally, they was just at a halt. They was like, yo, man, we need a music director. And it was just like, Rex do all the work anyway. And I was like, nah, I'm just...
So the guy that was playing keys, he wasn't a music director. He was just acting like it, or
Which,
oh, y'all were just a band
yeah, we were just
without
a band.
an MD.
Well, initially Zach was.
I got you.
And then one of her old music directors came back. And it was just a lot of transition.
I got you.
Yeah, it was so... Towards the end, it was just nobody really...
Stepping
But like I
up.
said, I was doing everything, as far as trying to come up with stuff. So they was like, make him the music director. So it was kind of by default, actually. It was
Yeah.
kind of by default. But
And that was ordained.
it seems like it.
Yeah. That's what's
Yeah.
up.
So but to answer your question, like, so once I became the music director, I'm one of those drummers. I don't center shows around me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, as a drummer, I think being a music director and a drummer is dope in some cases.
Yeah.
But in some cases, you're looking at the stage like, okay, I'm pretty sure the drummer's the MD. That's not a compliment. So for me as a drummer, at that point, I had to learn, okay, this show ain't about you, bro. Like,
Right.
we're here to assist the person singing, but at the same time, I gotta be, chilled enough to listen to everybody's parts, to turn my drummer ear off and just become a straight musician.
Right.
But for a drummer, it's easy to get caught out there and just you
Yep.
trying to get people to woo.
Right.
Oh, it's like, nah, we not
got you.
playing Share My World and Everything. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Songs like that, Be Without You. Nobody's out there waiting for me to solo.
Right.
So that's
But they are out there ready to groove, which
Exactly.
is like that's how I introduced you. I mean, you got that bounce and that groove and that pocket. I mean, just locked to where you don't even hear. If there's a click track playing or a drum loop playing, like drummer should be so locked on it. You don't know if it's the machine or you know what I'm saying, or
Right.
the drummer, and that's super important. But yeah, man, I mean, I can relate as far as, like you said, being an MD, having to. It's a whole nother hat because you're not just a musician. Now you got to focus on your part, but not you got to listen to 3 or 4 other, musicians.
yeah.
Make sure they executing,
hmm
and then execute at, which what I had to learn is, in practice, I'm listening, I'm making sure in rehearsal, but I mean, on show day, like, y'all got to know your stuff,
Yeah.
because
Oh,
I can't be
absolutely.
focusing to see if you got your part and I miss mine because I'm trying to make sure you.
Yeah. But that's why I do tell people, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about this, but I tell music directors, unless your friends are ready, don't always hire your friends for gigs.
Mm,
Because, like, in what you just said, like, I don't want to straddle the fence on that. You know what I'm saying? We here to do what we do, and if he's ready or she's ready, then cool. If
Right.
not, just, they'll know when it's their time.
right.
Because was some gigs I thought I could have done, but and now that I look back at it, I couldn't have.
Mhm.
You know, but
I got you. Yeah,
yeah,
I've been one of my good friends, my mentors, Reese and Sleepy. They been they been mentoring me as far as not just playing, but just it's a whole nother aspect
hmm
once you playing. It's different from when you playing from C artist or B artist, and then you get to A list. Like the the expectation,
right.
even off the stage,
hmm
and not on the instrument is greater and more. They require more of you. Of
Yeah,
your presence and your energy and your being focused on not just your MD but your artist too, just as equally in the whole. Yeah. But can't like any more tips you can give as far as just being an MD for major artists like I mean like Diddy, how as meticulous as he is, you know, with that energy in that room and that rehearsal space, like how do you uh understand what he's saying and execute it and then communicate to your band and execute it on stage.
when that in the Puff situation, um, he really called. It was Adam. So Adam Blackstone was the music director. Um, and then I just co-MD basically. I mean,
Okay.
whatever he needed, and then Joe Wilson, he came back. Um, but far as with artists, far the way I do it is I try to learn the artist off stage.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's easier to, for me personally. It's easier to kind of gauge what they want musically by what they talk about and deal with off stage.
Mm-hmm.
So you could like Mary and Puff, they just got this thing. Like he was moving earlier.
Yeah.
They just got this thing. It's like being around them. You want to
You
be
want to
something.
right. You want to vibe right.
Yeah. So it's like when you hear their music, it's that same hump. It's just like everybody can't play Mary music, just like everybody can't play Sting music, Prince music,
Mm.
Beyonce. It's just certain people are meant to play certain things.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, anytime I'm with any artist, I just try to learn how they move,
Yeah.
and I just try to implement that in the music, like is putting together a show, whatever we're doing.
Yeah. Cool. Have you had any well, don't really want to spill the beans, but any not so pleasant experiences with any artists, as far as where you tried to do, the best you can, but whether or it may not have been with the artist, just just something didn't work out, and like how you handle that and still be, you know,
um, this
like how to okay, I guess because I ain't trying to get get you like
no,
telling,
it's
but
all
how
good.
do you how do you handle conflict in a professional arena like that, with because I hear a lot of stories where some people was like, no man, that's you don't say that to that, it's like, but I'm like, we all people, we
Right,
all
right.
grown folks,
First,
so if there's stuff we are right first before we
yeah.
musicians, we still people, we grown men or a woman, whoever it is, and
hmm
it's like so it's still that respect level, like
I
how
mean,
how do you how you handle like conflict in that workspace because it's different to handling conflict in a church or
yeah.
whether it's a small church or mega church when you out there on stage in front of millions of people, like it's a whole different.
Yeah. Um, like I said, um, I I tend to try to learn the artist and kind of know how they move. So if you know an artist may not like this certain thing, I try to stay away from things that may even cause conflict.
Yeah.
So if they come in, I can see they're in a bad mood. Okay, let me try to lighten the mood, or let me bring everything down. Let's just play the show, and so they can go. You know what I mean? But
Right.
far as times where I was like, wow,
Yeah.
this is weird. So we were about to do a tour with Mary.
Mhm.
Excuse me, we had rehearsed for maybe a month. So the show was locked in. So it's time for production rehearsal. So mind you, the show is in 4 days, 4 or 5 days.
Mhm.
Mary comes in rehearsal, and she sits in the audience. Like, all right, let's start the show. We start the intro. My my right hand to God. We start the intro. Not even 30 seconds into the intro, Mary was like, "Stop! I don't like it." I looked I looked at the other musicians. Like my boy JJ was on there with me. We were just like, "What? We've been
So
playing this intro."
she hadn't heard it yet, or that's
Yes,
something.
she had heard it.
Oh man, see.
Yeah, yeah, she had heard it. That's what made it weird. We was like, JJ was like, on the talk back, JJ was like, "All right, Rex, go ahead, talk,
It's on
man."
you, MD.
So I go out there, I sit next to him. I was like, you know, this is the intro we've been doing for the last three. She was like, yeah, it doesn't work. I, she was like, I need that thing. That's all she said, bro. I'm not lying. That's all she said.
Oh, I
She was like,
believe it.
She was like, I need that. I'm like, Mary, what's that thing? She was like, Rex, you know that thing. So
You know what I'm talking about.
just think about an artist telling you that and then leaving rehearsal. I was like, okay, I'll see y'all tomorrow. What do you do? Like, what do you do?
You go through that memory Rolodex, and
But and actually, you're right. But you're right in the space of saying, I go back to my Rolodex thinking about things I've talked to her about, or how her energy changes when she talks about a certain situation. You know what I'm saying? I try to build intros around stuff like that because, like, man, I'm infatuated with intros. To be honest with you,
dude.
I'm
See, I like outros, so
well, I love both.
right.
But see, the intro to me, the difference with the intro and the outro is some people don't stay till the outro. So if the intro of the show is like, I always wanted to put together intros, man, that when you could be out there getting popcorn, when you heard the show start, it was like, yo,
I come back.
you know what I'm saying? I come back and get that. But I've thought that way since I was a kid, really.
That's good.
And I don't like saying his name, but R. Kelly, fortunately, I worked with him, but I didn't really know him, to say the least. But the tour that changed my life in 1998, I think he did a tour, United Center downtown. Man, I saw his intro. My life changed. I was like, I have to be on that stage, and that's what it was, man. But I mean, because in that band you had Kern, you had Gerald Hayward, you had all those guys.
Yeah.
Kern, who was actually the reason I did meet Zach. Kern called me for Avant when nobody really wanted to deal with me like that.
Right.
But, yeah.
That's
So
what's
that
up,
changed.
man.
Yeah.
That's so that brings me to my next question I was gonna ask. So like who are some of your artists, musicians, whether drummers or not, but drummers like that you look up to, that you've whether you know them personally or that you've kind of modeled that after, or some that you have met personally. I seen that you and Calvin are close, and you mentioned you and Chris, are good friends. Like other drummers that's influenced you, that you've kind of taken some things from.
Yeah, I mean, I got big brothers in the industry more so than anything. Like Teddy Campbell,
Oh yeah.
Nissan Stewart, Gerard Barnes, like I said, Brian Frazier, Lil Jon, it's like these are guys I actually have relationships. Chris Dave, I have relationships with these dudes.
Yeah.
Um, and of course, like you mentioned Calvin Rogers, and I've known him since we was kids. But no, just to have like to watch these guys on TV,
Mm-hmm.
um, like to see Gerald Hayward. Like Gerald Hayward was the beginning for all of us, far as R&B.
Yeah.
Like once Gerald kicked that door in, it was everybody wanted a gospel drummer. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
So,
yeah. Right. It's like, oh, that's where they at.
right. That's the hump we need. Yeah, it's like, nah, man, we coming in kicking doors down. But
Yeah.
no, but to watch those dudes, you know, on TV playing for Mary, Janet, Jodeci, anybody, and then to get relationships with them where you talk to a lot of them about stuff you're dealing with outside of music.
Right.
Yeah, so from that aspect, it feels good to have
Yeah.
brothers like that you look up to musically and personally.
Right. That's good, and that's important, man. My pastor, which is also my father-in-law, he's always saying build your relationships, who you hang around and the relationships you build, that's setting your path, in life, and building a solid relationship, friendship is one of the most important things you can ever do, in your life, because one relationship out of now almost 8 billion people can change your life, literally change your whole course in life, about building one relationship. And I just think how powerful that is.
Yeah.
And it's story after story, we hear it, especially in the musician community. It's just like that relationship, this person been playing, or this person it's not always about skill, but it's about the relationship, and also the type of person you are, being. Sometimes people don't care, as that you can do this and that musically if you got nasty attitude, and stuff,
Absolutely.
all that. So
Yeah.
of course it, show yourself. What's that scripture? It says show yourself friendly and have
Oh,
multiple
yeah. Yeah.
and you have, but that's highly, obviously you're respected in the industry, not just as a drummer, but as a person, being able to play, not just for all these artists, but TV show, like you said, American Idol,
Yeah.
with, like, yeah, you were telling me with Ray Chu, and
Yeah, Ray Chu.
you were part of the crew, man.
I was, yeah, and we used to always joke about that because I'm like, Ray, I'm younger than y'all, so it was my bedtime. when it was
Right.
when it was time for Apollo to go up, it was definitely time for me to be in the bed,
Right.
knowing I had to be at church the next day. But no, man, that experience was crazy. But of course, me and Ray crossed paths by me playing with Mary. A lot of times when she was traveling alone, like with no band, this is like for award shows, depending on what she was doing.
Right.
So they set it up like, well, we're gonna at least bring her music director in. So I went in, sat in, played with the band, and after that, like Ray's assistant was like, yeah, what are we calling you? So I'm like, all right, whatever. I didn't
You're right.
pay it no mind.
Right.
I told her, cool, like hit me up. And my first gig really with Ray, I did one gig, one small event with him, but then you remember when the thing happened in Haiti?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember what year that was.
I'm not sure, but
Yeah, but they did this concert called Hope for Haiti in Miami. And Ray called me for that. Ray was like, yeah, man, so you can read, right? And I knew how to read. Like I learned how to read. Let me see. My parents made me learn how to read when I was like 12.
yeah, my mom
11.
did too.
Yeah, it was just like the thing.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to look cool playing drums, so I didn't really focus on it.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew enough to make them happy, I guess. So when he asked me that, I'm like, yeah, like I could read. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Man, I got there. They sent us some of the songs. We get there. They was like, yeah, we got maybe 23, 24 songs to play. They had only sent us like 8.
Good.
So I just, and when they called me, I started practicing my reading. You know, like I said, so it started coming back, but when they said the 20 some odd songs, I was looking like, y'all killing me, bro.
Oh my goodness.
And after that, it was Idol, and Idol was a whole different ball game. But yeah,
Right. My
Yeah,
man
but
said
like you
2010. That's 2010 was the earthquake.
oh 22, yeah, okay, yeah,
Man,
yeah. So
that's crazy, man. Well,
yeah,
see,
man.
yeah, again, like you said, just being ready, man, being prepped, man. All the challenges thrown at you, man. You just gotta, you know what I'm saying, go for it,
Yeah.
you know. So, I guess I think all the drummers want to know where you at. Oh no, I think I read it. You well, symbol wise, you with Sabian.
Yeah.
Okay. Drum wise, what? Tama,
DW.
Yamaha,
Oh no,
DW. Where you at?
DW.
DW. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't play when it comes to No, yeah, man, DW. I've been wanting.
Not Pearl.
I never wanted to be signed to Pearl. No, like Pearl. I like Pearl for Nick drums sound great.
Right.
They sound really good, but Pearl was more nostalgic for me. Like it was my first drum set. Like I had an export. So it was that type of thing. But when I saw the drum sets I was seeing and hearing with DW,
Mm-hmm.
I just started. Initially, I would put it on a rider because I knew it was the most expensive drum set
Mm-hmm.
at that time. Like I couldn't afford it, so I would just put it on there. So I'd be like, okay, at least I could play it here.
Right.
But when I started playing, it was like, oh my god. So after that, even if I had to buy the drums, I would have. It didn't matter to me.
Right.
But yeah, so it worked out.
DW, Sabian. What else?
Vic,
What
Vic
else?
Firth.
Vic Firth. Okay.
Yeah, Big Firth, Remo Heads.
What you five freestyles or
For who?
Vic Firth? What you play freestyles?
Yep.
Okay.
Freestyles. I
Five,
love those
five,
things.
five,
5B.
5B,
Yep.
5B freestyle.
Yeah,
Okay.
bruh. It's like, because I like the 5B, but the extremes, first of all, they were too heavy.
Okay.
Because I was playing with the, is it the X55B?
Think so.
Yeah,
I know
so that's-
55A X. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was playing with the X55B, which was a little longer, but it was too heavy. So the freestyle
Right. My
was
my
actually,
man played a 55A because he liked the longer, but not so.
Yep. Yeah, so I get my freestyles made heavy. They're not as heavy as the X55Bs, but they're heavy enough and they're longer. You know what I'm saying? So
So the ones you use are custom for you.
yeah, yeah.
See, that's goals.
Now it's weird, man, because I was, coming up, you're not paying attention to sticks. Like I'm trying to play with whatever I can get my, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
if it's a broom handle broken half, I don't even care.
Right.
So as I got older, I'm getting older, looking at these guys. I'm 19, well between 16 and 19. I'm trying to find myself musically.
Mm-hmm.
So Nissan was with Vader. Like I started playing Vader. I would just try to play whatever I saw the guys I looked up to play.
Right.
And then I started playing Vic Firth, and after that, it was a wrap. It was a wrap for me. So that, yeah.
Oh yeah. Every drummer I've talked to, pretty much, if they don't have their own stick brand with somebody else made, from whatever wood. I mean, Vic Firth. That's the way they're going.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, man. So what's the goal, like dream goal for, what like what's next, for Rex as far as, still doing your stuff with Mary and doing MD, but like, do you got other goals, whether it's musically or any other business you working on, or any other creative ideas, or?
Yeah. It's like I said, the I started doing like the media thing real heavy for the church, and like people started to call me to do that for them. So that's something I really, because it still has to do with music. You know,
Right.
you just intertwine. But that I'm working on some clothing situations.
Okay.
Yep. I have a couple things that I want to say, but I can't yet.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Gotta keep it
but
tucked.
yeah, but it'll be very soon.
Okay.
I'm not gonna say it'll shock a lot of people, but it'll be like, oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's the
yeah.
thing about this pandemic, man. It's really the force of a lot of us, especially musicians that's been traveling and doing stuff, to really dig down and see what other gifts we have
Hmm.
that we can focus on and start. Then a lot of times I'm seeing actually some of these other things that musicians are picking up start to gratify them just as much, if not more,
Hmm.
than their music was.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten heavy into. Well, I started even before the pandemic, but like cameras and like you asked me about my camera earlier.
Yeah.
Taking really, I wanted to get into video, but in order to do video, I wanted to understand uh, photo, cameras
Oh,
for
okay.
just the settings. So
Yeah.
I learned photos so that I can learn video. So now I know both.
Gotcha.
And man, I done got into it, man. Looking at all the different cameras, the Black Magics, the Reds.
I have no idea with none of that.
Yeah, we'll chop it up, man. It's it's
Yeah.
it's a whole, cause like we were talking about using Ableton,
Hmm.
earlier. It's a whole nother, like the camera side and the different gear, man. I
Oh
feel
yeah,
like
you gotta hit me the game on that.
I got you, man.
Seriously.
It's definitely like that spark, like you said earlier, where you want to play the drums again.
Hmm.
It's like that new, found love for it. It's like once I got into this and seeing what all it can do and the advantages of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So,
That's dope,
but
man.
yeah, man. Oh, but I did mention Ableton, man. So you've been, so you said you've been using it to help with programming shows and stuff. You said since '06.
Yep. 2006. I didn't know anything about Ableton.
Yeah.
Nothing actually.
Who
And my guy,
introduced you to it?
this guy named Carl, Carl Jemblonsky is his name. A little short white dude. He's like
Yeah.
my brother from another mother.
Yeah.
He was like, so I'm trying to get my electronics together and all this. Because by then, Mary had put out "Be Without You."
Hmm.
That was a really big album. Um, so anyway, I'm using electronics, trying to figure stuff out. He was like, "Man, why don't you use Ableton and USB MIDI it to so you can just have your sounds in your computer?" I'm like, "No, no, it sounds too complicated." So I
Right.
even put myself, but I end up doing it. I had a drum cat that was MIDI to, and that's when I was introduced to it. But I didn't use, like I told you the other day, I didn't use it for production.
Mm.
And then I started, picking it up for that, and it was like, oh my god, like I can't use everybody I meet. If they're into production, they like, hey, what you use? Ableton. I don't hesitate. I don't,
Yep.
And in all honesty, whatever DAW you use, like some people could do stuff in Logic I probably can't do on Ableton.
Nah, man. I go hard for that.
No, 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 no. I don't mean that it can't be done. I'm saying they can basically do something in Logic that I can't do in Logic.
Oh, I
So I
got what
would
you
try
saying.
to mimic it in Ape. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like some stuff I won't even try in Logic because it's like it's either gonna take too long or I just
Hmm.
don't know how to do it.
I've
And
converted a bunch of people from Logic
I'm sure.
to they, because I used to be Logic, because I was on Logic 9.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I was deep, in Logic, and then See, I was in man's logic, and then I met an able God. You know, and
Well, yeah, that's the
that's how.
feeling. It's like your music goes from here to here.
Just
It's
being able to. Now, I mean, for me, it's the beginning to end, process, because you start with it. In the middle, you can do whatever is flexible, and then you're going to use it on stage too.
absolutely.
So you use it in the studio, you use it on the road, and you use it on stage. So and everything in between. I'm
Yeah,
using it now to play, as background music. So it's just
yeah. No, I'm right with you. I love Ableton. You would never. But you do know what I find myself doing is, well, I've always done it. I try to learn everything. So depending on who I'm working with at the time, like I got producers I work with. Some of them they love Logic.
hmm
So it'd be like, all right, well, we'll work in Logic. I don't want to just, you know what
right,
I'm saying?
right, right,
It's gonna make it to Ableton for
right,
sure. But I got another guy who loves Pro Tools.
right,
And it's like, all right. So I try to work that way. They're comfortable,
right,
and then once they're done, once we done, I immediately export everything, and I go to work from there.
I got you. Now I will, cause another hat, cause I'm a mix engineer, so I do mix in Pro Tools.
Oh
Once
yeah, absolutely,
once the audio is everything, or if I'm just recording straight audio in, I'll use Pro Tools. But
absolutely.
mixing, um, but the production, editing, live stage, Ableton all
Oh yeah, no, we're the same person in the way we feel about that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, man. What cool deal, man. Anything you want to encourage what can you do to encourage the younger, not just drummers but musicians, MDs, not just in this time but even what we can do to prep for when this COVID is over, to because it's like I said, I was telling you kind of my dream list, just to not only interview but work with some of those artists, and so what's kind of some goals and steps that we could kind of take to at least put our footsteps in that direction.
I would just say whatever you come up on while you're on that road headed basically to where you're trying to get to or who you're trying to work with, every step counts. You know what I'm saying? So for the small guys, the small kids, whatever, you playing in church, make that church your number one. Cause every step you go to in your life, somebody's watching you.
Mm.
It may be somebody you don't even know, but that person is watching you. Everything I've gotten has been because somebody was watching me that I didn't know.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So in that moment, if I didn't treat that particular situation like it was everything, I
Right.
could have lost the next moment. You
Mm.
feel me? So that's the rule I live by. Like there's nothing. What's funny is, man, and it would take somebody who really knows me. There's nothing that I do for Mary. I mean, my sounds and everything are a lot better. I'm more
Right.
mature, but I'm more professional. But there's nothing that I've done for Mary that I wasn't doing when I was in high school.
Mm.
Nothing. I was programming like that. I was doing it in church.
Right.
I mean, I would flip a R&B song, a hip hop song, and play it on top of. I had people running vocals. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? So that's everything. I was used to that already, but now it's just on the bigger scale. So basically, me doing it then prepared me to do it on a bigger scale. You know what I'm saying? So stay consistent. Put your all into every single situation. And that one person may be looking at you, and like you said, that relationship end up changing your life forever.
Man.
Yeah, so meeting Mary, man, bruh,
Yeah.
changed my entire life.
Yeah. And
to
that's
play with, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying to play with a Shaka Khan
Yeah.
from her seeing you play with Mary, it's like, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? And Mary, my father has a well, he had one. It was an engineering company, like janitorial services. Like it was a big
Yeah.
company.
Mhm.
And as a kid, I would go clean up with him. So we was clean up this church here. It's a real big church.
Mhm.
And in my headphones, uh, I was listening to Mary's music. But mind you, I was 18. I
Right.
would go work with him before I went to school. So to go from thinking about listening to that music, working a 9 to 5 basically, to then meeting her and then now being with her for 16 years, like, yo, relationships is everything, man. And it ain't because I'm the best drummer. I play how I play,
Mhm.
you know, but relationships.
Yeah.
Puff, he saw me with her. Rachel, he saw me with her. Shaka saw me with her. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So,
Man,
yeah, that relationship, man,
that's
changed
awesome.
everything.
Yeah, that is one thing. Sleepy and Reese, they always tell me, "Hey, man, you play wherever you at. You play every show like it's your last show.
Yep.
Like, leave it all out there on the stage." And but that is very encouraging. To me, what you're just saying as far as like whatever you're doing, whether you're playing, doing production, whatever, do it till its fullest. Cause somebody, I think a lot of times we think about the people that's watching,
Mhm.
that we know is watching, but like you just said something powerful. It's like there's somebody watching that you don't know,
Yeah.
and you don't know them, and you don't know who they know. And they're watching this. They're seeing what you're doing, how you handling situations, your professionalism, the way you carry yourself, and like you said, you could not even be the very best at what you're doing,
Mhm.
but it's just something about you, and that vibe, and they're like, oh yeah, I got to work with this guy.
Yeah.
Or this girl. I try not to leave my ladies out. I see y'all out there. It's just not as common, which we need. We need
Right,
more
right.
more female, musicians, MDs,
Yeah,
everybody.
some bad ones out there, but like you said, it's not enough.
Right. Yeah. So
Gotta be more. But
hopefully I'm
yes,
raising one, man. My 7-year-old, she's got this piano app on the iPad, and
oh, it's a wrap, huh?
I mean, we gotta make her get off of it. She's 11:30 at night. I mean, on the piano.
I'm sure.
But that's after she's been on there since 7. you know.
Right.
Yeah, it's like, baby, you gotta go to bed. But at the same time, I don't, cause I'm like, if she love it,
Oh yeah, you gotta. I know you support it.
yeah.
You already know.
So, but yeah, man. So, man, I appreciate you. I don't want to hold you up, man, too much. We got it right at our spot, trying to keep these shows. I mean, we just can learn. I want to know so much. I know the people want to know so much,
That's
man.
good.
But
We'll do a part two.
we got to, man.
We'll do a
And
part two.
next time, yeah, we'll get out all the other stuff set up, man, so you can
Oh yeah, yeah.
get
So
us
we
some
can
of
go-
them vibes.
Yeah, we can go in the back. Get on. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Get
man.
on a track or two.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, I'm setting all that up too, so we gonna get it. Man, I greatly
Go.
appreciate your time, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rex Hardy Jr.
For sure.
Y'all give him a round of applause.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, man. So next time, man, we'll have you on. We'll do the same thing, but we'll go a little bit more in depth. And yeah, we'll dive into some music. And yeah, tell more of your story. This is Musician Lives Matter. Rex Hardy Jr., man. I appreciate you.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Listen, thank y'all for tuning in. That was none other than Mr. Rex Hardy Jr., Mary J. Blige's MD, Diddy, Nas, Shaka Khan, American Idol, with Ray Chu and the crew. The list goes on. He's legendary. Y'all can go back and rewatch, listen to his story, see how he came up, how he got into the industry, how he got on the scene, and he's still going. He's not done. He's got clothing line coming out and some other things, so y'all stay on the watch. Follow all social media at Rex Hardy Jr. Y'all support my man. If y'all like what we're doing here, again, my name is Nigel Maestro. This is Musician Lives Matter. Y'all can please support us at musicianlivesmatter.com. We have apparel, hats, shirts. We also have a donation button. Help us pay some bills, this light bill, our camera equipment. We're actually trying to upgrade and build a new actual production studio. So any and all love and help and support, we greatly appreciate it. But until next time, I love you more than you love yourself. Again, I'm Nigel Maestro. We were live with Rex Hardy Jr. tonight. Y'all make sure you go back and watch. Please subscribe, press that bell notification so you can know when the videos release. We're doing live videos, also recorded. We're going to be showing you different tutorials, Ableton Live, and different programming techniques, and just a whole bunch of stuff. So please subscribe to Musician Lives Matter on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. Again, I'm Nigel Maestro. Love you. Peace.